doesn't quite notice that yellow flag, doesn't quite lift as early as you do, you're going around, and it's going to really darken your day. Several drivers now going to the high side. Now the 88 dives back down to the inside. That's Keselowski. He has not picked a lane yet here this race. He has yet to choose a definitive lane as to where he's going to run.
Kind of a 28 car match. Chase got help, and now a couple more cars come piling in. The 77 car of Armstrong's involved. 29 car as well involved of Miller. Those 3 cars involved. I think I saw the 21 car of Arnett skating by the bottom. A couple more guys come blowing through the accident scene, almost wide open. Could have been even worse, but I think it was only contained to 3 or 4 cars there with Matt Chafe. That Team ASC Ford Fusion Darrell certainly getting the short end of that deal, as that car is short in front and back, appears to have a left front tire down. Most likely some suspension damage on that machine, and definitely that one's going to need a rear clip and a whole new fuel can and, well, everything else back there as well.
Yeah, unfortunate there for Matt Chafe and the number 28 machine. 3 wide, and that'll happen when you go 3 wide. And where we lose Matt Chafe, if we should lose him, we would lose one of our Fords as well. Not a good day for the Ford camp. That machine may very well, Tony, be found on the road dead or on the racetrack dead, as the case may be here tonight at Daytona.
Maybe on the racetrack
right now, as we've got our replay rolling, we'll throw it down to Matt Racing Kid Thomas with the call.
Yeah, 28 got a little help there. The 22 just drove right up into the side of him there, and that's really what started that whole mess back there, is everybody scattered. The 29 gets in a wreck. I think his team car, the 92, also got in a wreck earlier tonight, but the 22, look, he drifted up in the 28. 28 looked like he held his line there, Darrell.
We're seeing everybody go by pit lane here. Not a lot of pit stops, not a lot of takers for pit lane, and kind of confusing as a lot of them could potentially go the distance. Now we're seeing, of course, the drivers involved in the incident. They'll be coming down pit lane. They've got some damage to attend to, and of course, they will get 4 fresh tires, every single one of them, and they will get a full tank of fuel. And that is going to assist them potentially in picking up a few more spots. That's going to be key. We have to wait and see if maybe they can go the distance. What we're watching right now is I'm watching the number 28 of Matt Chafe coming down onto pit road. A lot of damage to that number 28 machine. A lot of work to do to that number 28. They're not going to lose a lap because we are under yellow flag conditions, but they're going to lose a lot of ground to the rest of this field. Chafe may very well lose a lap with all of the damage to that number 28 machine. That thing has been punched in on all 4 sides. The only thing that's not destroyed is the roof, and I believe it may be rippled, and there may be some fingerprints, some knuckle marks on the roof very soon, as Chafe probably not a very happy camper behind the wheel of that number 28 machine. We've got to take a break. We've got to pay some bills. We've got a lot of things still to come here on OLR TV as Matt Chafe now pulls away from his pit stall. Repairs, not that bad. They didn't lose too many body panels off the number 28 machine, so he might be okay if he can get up into the draft, provided there's no major engine damage. And that's always the concern when you turn a car around at Daytona. We're going to try to turn our finances around by taking a break. Before we do, want to remind you that coming up next Wednesday night, that's August 15th, the audio broadcast from Phoenix will be on High Speed Radio at highspeedradio.com. Coverage starts at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the DMP Grand National Series. And then the very next night, DMP's Sportsman Series gets their turn, their shot at the limelight under the bright lights of High Speed Radio. Once again, that race again will be coming to us from Phoenix Raceway, and that will be the Sportsman Division at 9:30. We'll take a break, we'll pay some bills, we'll come back with more. You're watching the Fortune High Tech Marketing 225 live on OLR TV.
Tired of playing games? You want to live competition? Well, the all-new OnlineRacing.com brings you the absolute best of sim racing. Everybody knows we have the fastest and most stable dedicated server. But did you know that now we have the easiest software to set up your own races, chat with your buddies? Oh yeah, and remember that Java and that pesky redirector? They're gone, baby. No more of that. We still have our popular games like NASCAR 3, NASCAR Heat, NASCAR 4, NASCAR 2002, and of course, NASCAR Racing 2003. But why are we different? Well, maybe it's the car file showroom, or the setup exchange, or is it the voice chat? Heck, the list goes on and oh yeah. I'm talking about the absolute best sim racers on the planet to race against. Sure, you can sit at home and race against the computer, but what fun is that? Prove you're the best, race against the best at OnlineRacing.com. But that's just a glimpse of what you'll find on OLR. Come on over and find out why we say OnlineRacing.com. Don't dream it, live it.
Are you tired of working 40-plus hours and have very little to show for it? Are you tired of living from paycheck to paycheck? Have you ever wanted to start your own business but don't have the money to do so? Then Fortune High-Tech Marketing is the right business for you. No inventory, no cold calls, no door-to-door sales. Fortune High-Tech Marketing is a word-of-mouth business. Just talk, that's it. Get paid for the services you use every day. Best of all, no experience required. Visit www.join-fhtm.com and contact Dan Denaire to see how Fortune can work for you.
He's going to get freight train one way or another, and that's the next step in his life, a double-wide mobile home. Mario's making a move up to the middle. 3 wide, you're the middle. One more time. Right flag, you're the man. As they come onto the back stretch, it looks like there may be a move back in the back. Chris Haskins now moves into the fifth position.
Welcome back to the Daytona International Speedway, where we just have gone green. Patrick Baldwin leads the field into turn number 1, still gaining speed. That DuPont Pepsi Chevrolet with his teammate, the number 5 of Ryan Bowers, closely behind. Just under that rear bumper cover, Tyler Overstreet and Nelson Rivera are in tow and single file behind them. The entire snake works their way down the back straightaway, still gaining speed, trying their best to figure out what they need to do for the final third of this race, where we still have one pit stop remaining, Darryl Morley, before most of these drivers can indeed make it the rest of the way to the finish.
Yeah, we should see that final pit stop, that pit window, opening up in the next 5 to 10 laps. That pit window will open up, and we'll see these drivers start to filter in to pit road, but they won't be coming alone. They're going to bring a lot of friends with them. I would expect to see a lot of these drivers, Tony, stick it out as long as they possibly can, wait until their fuel tanks almost run dry. The last possible moment, come down onto pit road, waiting for a potential caution flag. Green flag pit stops are often dangerous. You can make a mistake getting down into the apron, trying to get down to pit road speed, turn that car around. If you do, chances are there may be a caution flag coming out. The drivers that stick it out may be able to get their fuel, get their tires, and get back on the racetrack without losing too much time, provided the rest of the guys that have made their pit stops do go a lap down. If they do go a lap down, you're going to see a very excited group at the front. But there's another theory behind waiting too long or not waiting long enough. There's the short pit theory, there's the long pit theory. I've told you about the long pit theory. With the shorter pit theory, we'll hear from Tony Stevens.
Yeah, Darryl, exactly. The long pit theory, just as you said, of course, your short pit theory is that by the time you get out there, everybody, now you got me all confused on long pit, short pit, everything else. But yeah, you can stay out there as long as you possibly can. Let that thing run dry. You spend less time on the pit lane trying to fill that car up. Of course, less time on the pit lane means less time you're going to lose on the racetrack. The flip side of that is the short pit, which means you get in there as quick as you can. You get more fuel in the rear of the car because, Darryl, at Daytona and Talladega, the two places where these cars are restricted with a restrictor plate, or in this case, with a simulated restrictor plate, You want as much rear percentage in the car as you could possibly get. Why? Because unlike your typical racetrack where you try to travel the front end, at this track you want to travel the back end, get that blade out of the air. It's little amount of wind resistance you can possibly get. 2-3 more gallons of fuel, that's an extra 10-15 pounds. A little bit further, that spoiler gets out of the air. You can go just a hair bit faster down these straightaways and through these corners. And of course, more rear weight means the car is a little bit freer. So you've got it's a balancing act between how free do you want the car, and even with the spoiler out of the air, it takes rear downforce away. So you're kind of stuck. Do you want to go strictly for the short pit because of that, and you know you can handle the car? Do you want to try to drag it out so you don't have a caution? There are many different theories these guys are trying to play out in their head at this point, Daryl, and we're going to see those unfold momentarily as we work. Lap number 62, 61 are complete, 29 laps to go, and Brad Keselowski is put into the outside wall. The Navy Chevrolet now twice now making contact with the outside safer barrier in turns 1 and 2.
Somehow, some way, we stay green flag as Keselowski does a great job keeping that machine pointed in the proper direction. Keselowski, however, is going to have minimum some right side damage, may have knocked the toe out of that machine, and yes, it's all factored in. It's all factored in to the simulation here in NASCAR 2003. Still the cream of the crop when it comes to NASCAR style simulations. It is still a number one. Nothing has come close yet. That is why here in 2007 we are still utilizing a simulation, a piece of software created in 2002. A 5-year run is huge for a piece of software, and it's still going strong. You can't find a copy anywhere. You've got to look on eBay, but it's still going strong, even with the announcement that on August 16th, the arenas in Sierra will be shut down. When that happens, where are you going to go? I've got a piece of advice right here to OLR. Why? Because the Sierra servers shutting down have zero effect at onlineracing.com, and it's free pickup racing. And those pickup arenas, Tony, they will be hopping after the 16th of August.
That they certainly will, Daryl. Some of the best pickup racing anywhere with some of the best drivers. Now, for only like an extra $7 a month, you can get access to car files for all your fellow drivers, a setup exchange. Of course, the forum becomes free, even with the free membership, so you can interact with some of your fellow drivers. You know, shoot it around the water cooler a little bit, if you will, that type of thing. But also with that extra $6-7, it means you have access to an unlimited amount of leagues. As many leagues as you can possibly run, including my very own, the Hooters Pro Cup Online Racing Series League. You can get some details on it at hpcors.com. Considered by many to be the premier short track league on OLR. Nothing but short tracks all the time. And of course, you have Super Speedway Series you're eligible for with prizes, cash, trophies, different things like that, for that, which is included in that $7 a month, as well as some of the other special events that are run, discounts on merchandise, discounts on land registrations. You get a lot for that $7 a month, Daryl.
Oh, you get a ton for that $7 a month. And you talked about the free membership. Free members now have access to the Car File Garage. You now have access to the Car File Garage with your free membership. That's just something else that OLR is giving to the sim racing community in their constant effort to assist the sim racing community in not just staying alive, but staying strong and getting stronger. That's what OLR was created for. Edward Alexander had a dream several years ago, I think upwards of 10 to 15 years ago, to create a brand new entity in sim racing, a brand new community, and that's what OLR has sprung from. And if you're wondering about sim race broadcasting, you want to talk about experience, you want to talk about knowledge in sim race broadcasting, yours truly and Matt Racing Kid Thomas have been at this thing for 8 years. 8 years we've been involved in this deal. At some point in that 8 years, I believe it was actually about 7.5 years ago, we brought Tony Tech Stevens into the mix. Tony's been involved from almost day one. Tony, you've been around since the OLR Racing Radio days on Fancast.
Daryl, I remember, I think it was the very first Fancast race, fast car race we did when OLR came up with the fast car series, which has been redesigned and restructured a little bit. We had a race at Pocono, and we hadn't filtered any drivers. We didn't have a build-up process or earn your way up the ladder process, nothing along those lines. and it was a 4-hour race to Pocono with no commercials and no breaks, and somehow, some way, I kept it interesting, I guess, because we still had people listening at the end of the show, calling in, doing whatever with questions and answers. So we've been at this a while, not only in this case, but also with those real cars. We've been dabbling with that with Matt and some of the dirt cars, myself with the ASA, some of the Pro Cup things, different things along those lines. You, Daryl, at the Lee Speedway and Thornberry Speedway up in New Hampshire. So we've got a little bit of experience at this deal.
Yeah, that'd be Londonderry Speedway, by the way. Londonderry Raceway in Londonderry, New Hampshire.
I knew something
Also
like
the
that.
voice of the small block super modifieds at Lee USA Speedway. Proud to be part of Lee USA Speedway's announcing staff. Of course, Matt Racing Kid Thomas, the mastermind behind AsphaltVision.com, presenting the Oswego Classic and multiple Oswego races throughout the season down at the home of the big block super modifieds, big boys, the non-wing supers. ISMA will once again, the International Super Modified Association, be a part of the Oswego Classic weekend. That should be a fantastic afternoon and weekend of racing. 800 horsepower, a wing to keep them locked down to the ground. They will cut faster laps than will the non-wing supers at Oswego Speedway, and I will be down there in attendance to host the coverage for Asphalt Vision. And, of course, Tony Stevens doing the ASA Late Model Division Series coverage, doing a lot of stuff with the Hooters Pro Cup Series. I mean, Tony's been around real racing his whole life. I've been around real racing. This is a passion for us. This is why we do it. You're not going to make $1 million, especially in sim race broadcasting. Heck, you're lucky to break even. We do it because we love it, and that is why OLR TV is still the cream of the crop, still the king of the mountain. After 8 years of broadcasting, we are still at the top of the sim broadcasting game, and it's because of the passion. The same passion that has Baldwin out in the front, that has Bowers working right on the back bumper, the same passion that has drivers right now contemplating the move to the high side. It's about the passion, the thrill, the competition, the excitement, and you get it all right here on OLR TV, and especially with 21 laps to go.
Lee Langley, one of those cars on the top of the racetrack. Daryl, that number 44, we haven't heard a lot from Langley, the Virginia native who now actually is one of the members of our U.S. military. And we want to thank him for his service. But that Horizon Fall Ford Fusion trying very hard to make some headway on Rick Thompson and the Carino Chevrolet. And he, in fact, was starting to do so just a moment ago. He, Jason Atkins, racing very close to each other, as is Tyler Overstreet right behind him. That right now the best battle on the racetrack, Daryl, as these guys are trying to go hammer and tong, tooth and nail, bump drafting down the bottom lane is the 01 of Atkins to the 18 of Thompson. We've got 20 laps to go.
20 laps remain here in this one, and right now you can guarantee they can go the distance once they make their pit stop. These drivers waiting for a caution flag, anticipating a potential caution flag. Should they get it, we will see pit stops. If they don't get it, you're still going to see pit stops. These cars now starting to slide around. They're sliding up the track, drifting back down the track. Talk about snaking down the racetrack, Tony. These cars aren't snaking. They are in a four-wheel drift coming around these corners. Old tires, worn tires, emptier fuel tanks, much less weight in the back of those cars. You talked about the importance of the amount of weight in the back of these cars. Much less weight now than there was 10, 15 laps ago, and the tires are starting to wear down. And a guy like Baldwin, your race leader, who only took 2 tires on his most recent pit stop, he's got to be feeling the pressure right now.
And Daryl, again, you don't have all that weight on the front of the car. Even from the aero side, trying to pin that nose and help with the front downforce, because downforce equals drag. So in a place like this where it's all about sheer speed and low drag, you're going to sacrifice downforce. So therefore these cars are sliding the front nose as it is almost on sticker tires, and now as the tires start to wear, they go over the bumps, you're going to watch these cars dance up the hill, down the hill, all over the place, and these guys are going to have to be bouncing off each other and almost the walls in some cases to help keep them straight, as you're starting to see that as we approach pit stops. Even closer, even closer. And the other thing, Daryl, now, somebody like Patrick Baldwin, somebody like the 5 car of Ryan Bowers, these guys took 2 tires on their only pit stop of the night. what do the left sides look like? Are they going to have that left side grip so that they can still be pinned down to that yellow line? Or are they going to have to take 4 tires in order to get that grip back and lose a little bit more track position because of the extra 7, 8 seconds? Or are they just going to try to go out there and rough it for 10, 15 laps with those cars dancing even worse with all that right side grip, kind of make them a little jerky, and no left side grip to help pin them down with that nice little comfort feeling of the yellow line?
The other thing we're going to see here as we work lap number 74 on the racetrack, the other thing we'll see is a lot of drivers start to filter up to the high side contact.
The 4 car there, Lee Langley. Lee Langley, the 05 car is involved, the 08 car is involved, the 10 car also involved of Alan Gray. Huge melee here as we enter turn number 1, caution number 3 on the Daytona International Speedway. We saw it coming. It looked like the car that Langley was racing, I didn't see who it was. It was one of the brighter colored cars. I think it may have been the 01. Drifted up, wasn't quite clear, and 3-4 inches is all it takes, and there you have 6, 7 good race cars taken out of contention.
Yeah, Tony, and right now, let's talk positive, negative. We will see as the caution comes out on working lap number 74, we will see a positive, negative. We will see our pit stops. The positive for these drivers, they're not going to lose a lot of ground on pit road no matter what they do. However, here's the negative. The negative for a guy like Baldwin, he already took 2 tires, proved you can make it work with 2 tires on a long run. I believe he's going to have to go 4 tires or that car is going to be an absolute handful. There will be a lot of guys that take 2 tires. It could put Baldwin back in the pack, and if it does, he's going to have to try to work his way back up through the field, something he hasn't had to do all night long. He has not had to make a single pass for position. However, Tony,
the biggest thing, Darrell, though, we just saw a bunch of good race cars taken out in that accident, so Baldwin may not have nearly as many cars to pass as he would have 2 minutes ago. Nonetheless, like you said, he still is going to have to actually pass a car. As Matt, you've got the replay up from that massive crash in turn 1.
Yeah, the 4 car of Lee Langley actually got down into the 10 car. Not sure if he didn't see him there. Or looks like the 4 drifted down a little bit into that number 10. And Alan Gray goes around, also picks up the 09. Sean Hines gets around. 53, Joe Pepto, he gets a piece of it. So a couple cars get some pretty good damage. Nothing real heavy, but actually the 05, he can't even go anywhere. So it looks like the 05's done for the night. He's in the pits.
unfortunate for Tyler Overstreet. His race is done. He will join a lot of drivers who are out of this thing. 3 drivers, as a matter of fact, that are out of this thing, as no leaders come down pit road. Not a single leader of the top 5 or 10 take a pit stop. Some drivers come down, gas and go, get back out on the racetrack. We're not seeing takers here, and they're going to come down. Tony Stevens bringing up the strategy, gas and go towards the end of this race. Take your chances with the worn out tires. 4 drivers now out of this race. That will be Tyler Overstreet is done. Arnett in the number 21 machine is done. David Akers has retired from this race. He's going to go kick a few footballs, get himself ready for the NFL season. He is indeed the David Akers from the Philadelphia Eagles, the exquisite kicker for the Philadelphia Eagles. And of course, Tim Wiles out of this race. He'll be credited with 35th position on the field. We are going to see one heck of a finish here, Tony.
That we are, Darrell. Now, I'm sitting here, my brain is kind of baffled because you're under caution. You're going to have about 12 laps to go and we go green. You know you have to pit. Why not pit when you can make up all that ground and get right back behind the pace car like 4 or 5 guys in the very back of the pack did, instead of waiting either for another caution or for yourself to run out of gas? It makes no logical sense to me. And right now I'm trying to figure out what these guys are thinking because they just lost themselves a race, in my opinion.
We'll have to wait and see exactly what happens. I think we should try to speak to one of these drivers if we can, as live scoring is returned to our coverage, and we are looking for the perfect driver to talk to. We're going to take him out of race room number 1. We will talk to your race leader, the number 24 machine of Patrick Baldwin.
Right.
Patrick Baldwin, this is Daryl in the booth. You got me, buddy?
Yeah, I got you.
Patrick, quick question. We are completely dumbfounded. How close are you on fuel? Are you going to have to make another stop here?
No, we're all set on fuel.
All set for fuel, obviously not going to come down and get tires. What do you think your chances are holding off your teammate in the 5 behind you?
I think we have a pretty good chance. I'm pretty comfortable out here in the lead with him behind me. I don't think he's going to try and make a move on me, so we'll see what happens.
A very impressive run for you so far. Haven't had to make a pass for position all race long. Right now you do have the most laps led completely locked up here tonight. Are you trying to become the John Gorlinski of Season 8?
Well, that'd sure be an accomplishment. Yes, it would.
All right, we'll let you get back down to business, bud. I know you got a lot of things to take care of. This is Daytona. You are going to have your hands full. There's a lot of hot cars coming up your backside.
Thank you.
That Patrick Baldwin, your current leader, as we get 1 lap to green as we complete lap 77. Green flag with 12 laps to go. And Daryl, we've got a minute here. Correct me if I'm wrong, but these guys last pitted at like lap 35 or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was quite a while ago. They are going incredible distances on fuel. Obviously, 1X would be the settings in this race, and even at 1X, they are going a long way on fuel. And you heard Patrick tell us we're all set on fuel. We don't have to worry about the fuel situation.
Wow.
We have enough to go the distance. I gotta believe they may run out during the burnout, should they get the opportunity to get the burnout. And that's one of the things you desperately want to do on OLR TV is light those back tires up, because that means you have won the race.
Right. I'm sitting here still trying to do the math. It's 55 laps. So 10 laps, 25 miles. So they're 12 and a half miles. So they're looking to do almost 140 some odd miles on a tank of gas, which is nearly unheard of. Either they've got a whale of a gear in this thing, or his math is wrong and he's bluffing. And I'm venturing to say right now, Daryl, that Patrick Baldwin is bluffing.
I don't know. If it's a bluff, it's a real good bluff, Tony. I would tend to believe that Patrick Baldwin can, in fact, go the distance, because nobody else came down. Nobody else from the, 5th on back came down either. So I believe they can all go the distance. We're going to see a knockdown, drag out, green flag flies, and we are back underway. Green flag is out. 12 laps remaining here in this one.
Here comes the 08 car down to the inside. He's trying to pick up a couple positions on the 59 car. Valentine is Tony Cook. But Valentine does slam the door. The 77 car, the lap machine, Tyler Armstrong in the way, and behind him, double file as they race for position from about 6th on back. The 77 car of Armstrong's trying to say, what in the world am I doing here? I got to get out of here. This is not where I belong. And Daryl, just to bring up a point from some of the guys behind Baldwin, a lot of those guys have picked the previous caution of this one, as we see Armstrong now 3 wide in the middle as he gets bypassed on both sides. And in front of him, Jason Atkins in the 18 car. Thompson gets spun. The 77 car's in the wall. The 43. Thompson takes a whale of a tumble at turn 4. Caution number 4 is on the speedway.
Clears the fence. Home run here at this one. That's I do believe the number 18 machine, I believe, is outside the stadium here. Unfortunate for all the drivers involved. Huge wreck here in this one, and obviously the tow truck will be in order. Clears the fence. Don't often see that, Tony.
No, you don't, but Daryl, there's probably another good 6-8 cars torn up badly in that accident. Very, very hard contact for a number of them. It's like a funnel. You're heading through a corner like that with so much speed, you get spun, you can't really turn the thing left like you'd want to. And if a lot of these guys with older tires, as soon as you start to turn it, the thing starts to slip over those bumps, and up the racetrack you go. And as soon as you hit the brakes all that weight transfers to the right front, and it wants to make the car push up the hill even more, and there's really nowhere for you to go, and only by the grace of God and some luck do you maybe get through a wreck like that.
Oh, absolutely. And unfortunately for Rick Thompson, he's done. Hoosier is done as well. PJ Hoosier, the number 22 machine, is all done. His motor has gone kaput as a result of some pretty heavy contact. Langley also out of this race, and I don't think they will be the last of the drivers to fall out. We're going to send it down to Matt Thomas with the replay.
Yeah, we're going to watch and isolate the number 18 car here. He looks like a car comes down on me. 01 clips in front of him. He checks up. 43 gets him. And then watch him go outside the park here off turn number 4. Oh, good thing he went a little further down. He almost hit our speed shot camera back there. And then you see everybody pile on. 22, heavy damage, gets hit by 4 different cars. 54 around. 43, another wreck for him. So a bad night for that 43 car.
Now here's one of the benefits as Tony grabs some refreshment here up in the booth as we get set for an absolutely unbelievable finish, and you know it's going to be intense. You know it's going to be intense, and the rest of these drivers, they know they're going to have to go to the high side. They have no choice because Baldwin and Bowers are not going to give up the inside line. They will flat out refuse to give up the inside line. They will run that yellow line as if it is their absolute best friend. We're going to see a fantastic finish. Here's one of the benefits, another one of the benefits, besides personal safety, of us being involved in sim racing. If that accident had actually happened at Daytona Superspeedway, we'd be looking at, roughly a 2 to 3 hour red flag situation. Here, not a big deal. Get the cars out of the way, get the pace car out there, a couple laps, bring the pace car back in, get back to racing. It's just as simple as that. Speaking of racing, we have a lot of racing coming up here on High Speed Radio and OLR TV. We've, of course, got DMP on the 15th on High Speed Radio. That's the Phoenix Grand National Series race. Back on High Speed Radio with DMP with the Sportsman Series. That's on the 16th, again from Phoenix. That airs at 9:30 Eastern Time. Extreme NASCAR on the air. That'll be a simulcast from OLR TV on Monday, August 20th. That hits at 9 o'clock. And then another simulcast from OLR TV. That'll be on High Speed Radio as well. From Kansas, DMP's Kansas race, the Grand National Series, live on OLR TV and High Speed Radio. Then we go to Kansas with the Sportsman Series on August 23rd. That hits the air at 9:30 Eastern Time. And then potentially we have it slated down on the 28th of August, IFRT's Speed Tech Pro Cup Series at 8:40 Eastern Time. That race from Michigan Speedway. Then 29th, back on High Speed Radio, exclusive on High Speed Radio, the Grand National Series for DMP from California. And then a big one. This is going to be an extraordinary day for us at High Speed Radio. We head out in the morning for Oswego Speedway, and then in the evening, I will be in Auburn, New York at Racing Kid Productions home base for the DMP California event for the Sportsman Division. That'll air live on High Speed Radio at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You want to talk about a busy month? August is extremely busy here on OLR TV and, of course, High Speed Radio. Don't forget, fans, you can grab this race on DVD, digital video disc. Watch it on the big screen. Put it up on the plasma. Put it in your projector. Invite the friends over. Have yourselves an OLR TV party. In fact, if and when you do, send us pictures of your OLR TV DVD party here at this one, and we will put your pictures up on the OLR TV website or up on onlineracing.com. We'll also throw them up on highspeedradio.com. Don't forget to get your DVDs. Once again, pre-order here tonight, $8. $8, no longer $9, $8 for your pre-order. That is up until midnight tonight. Up until midnight tonight, you can pre-order tonight's race on DVD for $8. You have 42 minutes remaining. 42 minutes remaining with which to order that DVD. And if you miss out, your life is going to be very difficult. You can still get the DVD. But it's going to cost you the $11, which is still one heck of a steal. Looking at $3 shipping and handling, Matt Racing Kid Thomas will drive up to your front door in the OLR TV Pinto. Please don't run into the back of the Pinto. It'll kill him. He'll drive up to your front door in the Pinto, and he will drop it at your doorstep. He'll set it gently down at your doorstep, courtesy of OLR TV. Pace car getting set to exit the racing surface, and we are getting set to go green flag for a 7-lap shootout. It all comes down to 7 laps with the Grand National Series. Green flag, we are back underway.
That we are, Dale. We see a number of guys dive to the bottom of the racetrack trying to protect that inside line. Here goes the number 5 car of Bowers. He looks to the outside of Baldwin. Nothing there, but behind him we see Valentine. We also see the 08 car of Cook trying to back up and get a little bit of a run to shoot to the outside down the back straightaway if they can time it right. Valentine may indeed have the run, but he has no help from Cook. He'll still peek to the outside. Nothing there. That Sirius Satellite Radio Chevrolet will duck back in line, give it one more try as they come back down the back straightaway, most likely next time by with 6 laps to go.
Oh, it is white-knuckle time here, Tony Stevens. Absolute white-knuckle time. If you can grip your wheel any tighter, now is the time to do it. This is a race that will leave handprints, finger indentations on your steering wheel, guaranteed. And I don't care if Baldwin is comfortable with Bowers behind him. I think Bowers may very well take a shot at this. There's a couple things to keep in mind. Bowers obviously would like to take home the race win. If he could, that would put King Style Motorsports 1 and 2 tied for the top spot in points. Obviously, Baldwin has that 5 bonus points for leading the most laps. He's got that locked up solid, leading over 84 laps here tonight. Bowers would like to make a move. And what is Kevin King thinking? You know he's watching here in this one. Is he thinking that Bowers should make a move? Shouldn't make a move? I think all Kevin King cares about right now is that they don't take one another out. It's getting hectic. It's getting quick. The pace is picking up. Business is picking up here, and it's taking place on OLR TV. 5 to go, Tony.
Into turn number 1 with just over 12 and a half, or just under, 12 and a half miles remaining. We saw Ryan Bowers get into the back of his teammate Patrick Baldwin just a moment ago, exiting turn number 4. Got that Pepsi Chevrolet loose, and now Bowers will lag back 3-4 car lengths to try to close the gap on the back straightaway. He's going to shoot to the outside as enter turn number 3 if he can get the help from Valentine. Valentine peeks his nose out of line, nothing there, and now Valentine will leave the gap there. He wants a shot at this as well as Bowers looks to the top of the racetrack as they work through turn 4.
Bowers looks to the high side. Now he'll get right back into line. Peeks once again to the high side. That's hurting Baldwin. It's hurting Baldwin a lot, and in turn, also hurting Bowers. If they can stay in line, they may have a shot to pull away a little bit and settle this amongst themselves. The rest of this field knows. They absolutely know it's going to be the high side or no side if they're going to get around Baldwin and Bowers. Bowers will try to find a way to the high side. If everybody vacates the inside line, don't look for Bowers to stay on the inside line with Baldwin. Teammate or not, the last 5 laps at Daytona, hey, you know what? Go for the top spot. Always go for the win. And I don't think team owner Kevin King would have it any other way.
I don't think he would either, Daryl. Right now, those top 2 cars starting to put a little bit, mind you, it's only 2 car lengths or so, but a little bit of daylight between themselves and third place, Jimmy Valentine. Valentine, though, sucks up, turn 4, 3 laps to go, 7.5 miles remain. Valentine has got to do something, and he's got to do something quick. He just cannot quite bring the 08 car of Cook up to his back bumper to give him that shot down the straightaway that he needs to get to the outside of Bowers and possibly to the outside of Baldwin down the back stretch for only a couple more laps this time. Valentine once more looks to the outside but appears to be content to stay in line into turn number 3. Crunch time is coming, and it's already here now.
Oh, it's definitely crunch time, and if you're not feeling the pressure, if you're not feeling the crushing force of Daytona, of OLR TV, of the DMP Grand National Series, you have ice water running through your veins, and not many of these drivers have it. 5 miles remain in this race, 2 more laps. Next time by the stripe, the white flag will fly. It is now or never for a lot of these drivers. If they don't get to the high side, don't try to get a run on Baldwin and Bowers, they will be relegated to finishing behind these drivers, behind the King Style Motorsports sponsored entries of Baldwin and Bowers. Baldwin has dominated this race like no driver I have ever seen at Daytona. I have never, in my 8 years of sim race broadcasting, seen domination like this at Daytona or any super speedway for that matter. From time to time an intermediate track, yes. From time to time a short track, yes. Right now, Valentine on an island. He's the only non-King Style Motorsports car in that lead 3-car draft. Bowers now takes a peek to the high side, takes a peek to the low side, drops back a little bit, trying to pick up the draft, and the slingshot from Valentine. Bowers is going to take a shot at the win, and he'd be foolish not to. Tony, take us to the checkers.
Bowers looks, he tries to get the run down the back straightaway off of turn number 2. He has help from the Sirius Satellite Chevrolet of Jamie Valentine into turn number 3. Bowers was going to try to use the lap car they just bypassed, but the car pulled to the apron, thwarting that strategy. Off turn 4, he's got one more shot. Bowers looks high, he's going to peek to the bottom. Now high one more time. Bowers with a little bit of a run. Not going to be enough. Patrick Baldwin will win the Fortune High Tech Marketing 225 at Daytona now, and they crash past the finish line.
Stuffing some cars in the concrete after the start-finish line. Your top 10 looked like this. Baldwin in the number 24 machine, followed by Bowers, Valentine, Cook, Garrett, Rivera, Jordan, Scandura, Moore, and Hennigan. That is your top 10, the way they crossed the line. What a fantastic performance from Patrick Baldwin. Kevin King is more than pleased, and you know, if it's possible, King is doing a backflip. I don't think it's possible, but if it is, you know he's going to try.
I think Kevin would just draw him a nice new paint scheme, being that Kevin is the excellent designer that he is. I'm sure we'll see some sort of commemorative scheme within the next few weeks for something. Be it this win or something else. If he can do Kevin Harvick's car, I'm sure he can certainly do something for Patrick and Ryan and something along those lines.
Oh, you know he can. Baldwin now will get the victory celebration that he has worked so hard to deserve. He will get to light the tires up on the front stretch here at Daytona. We'll see if he uses the grass or stays to the pavement. Of course, down through the infield, lighting up the tires. Now on the pit road. Dangerous situation there. Almost killed a few crew members. Lighting up the tires on pit road, enjoying his celebration. We've got to take a quick break. We've got to pay some bills, and we've got to come back for your post-race show. The DMP Grand National Series on OLR TV. Post-race coming up next.
Next week, the Nextel Cup heads back to the road of the Glen, and NASCAR Hot Pass takes you along for the ride. Ride shotgun with last year's winner, Kevin Harvick.
Kevin Harvick wins at the Glen.
Points leader, Jeff Gordon, Jamie McMurray, Road Warriors Juan Pablo Montoya, and Robbie Gordon as they try to earn points for the chase.
Let's get to victory lane, babe.
Don't miss the action next week on NASCAR Hot Pass.
On the road again, going places that I've never been, seeing things that I may never see again. And I can't wait to get on the road again.
Are you tired of working 40 plus hours and have very little to show for it? Are you tired of living from paycheck to paycheck? Have you ever wanted to start your own business but don't have the money to do so? Then Fortune High Tech Marketing is the right business for you. No inventory, no cold calls, no door-to-door sales. Fortune High Tech Marketing is a word-of-mouth business. Just talk, that's it. Get paid for the services you use every day. Best of all, no experience required. Visit www.join-fhtm.com and contact Dan Denaire to see how Fortune can work for you.
What do you you have your hands on? That's right, I'm talking to you. Look down. What do you have your hands on? No, not that. I'm talking about your steering wheel. Are you using the only steering wheel used and endorsed by Dale Earnhardt Jr., the Sierra testing team, and of course, the OnlineRacing.com staff? Well, if you didn't get it from Thomas, you're not using the wheel. Thomas Enterprises, the absolute best racing wheels on the market. If you're not using a Thomas, you're not in control.
Using only the freshest potatoes makes Lay's potato chips naturally irresistible.
Tired of playing games? You want to live competition? Well, the all-new OnlineRacing.com brings you the absolute best of sim racing. Everybody knows we have the fastest and most stable dedicated server. But did you know that now we have the easiest software to set up your own races, chat with your buddies? Oh yeah, and remember that Java and that pesky redirector? They're gone, baby. No more of that. We still have our popular games like NASCAR 3, NASCAR Heat, NASCAR 4, NASCAR 2002, and of course, NASCAR Racing 2003. But why are we different? Well, maybe it's the car file showroom, or the setup exchange, or is it the voice chat? Heck, the list goes on and oh yeah. I'm talking about the absolute best sim racers on the planet to race against. Sure, you can sit at home and race against the computer, but what fun is that? Prove you're the best. Race against the best at OnlineRacing.com. But that's just a glimpse of what you'll find on OLR. Come on over and find out why we say OnlineRacing.com. Don't dream it, live it.
Are you tired of working 40 plus hours and have very little to show for it? Are you tired of living from paycheck to paycheck? Have you ever wanted to start your own business but don't have the money to do so? Then Fortune High Tech Marketing is the right business for you. No inventory, no cold calls, no door-to-door sales. Fortune High Tech Marketing is a word-of-mouth business. Just talk, that's it. Get paid for the services you use every day. Best of all, no experience required. Visit www.join-fhtm.com and contact Dan Denaire to see how Fortune can work for you.
Going to get a freight train one way or another, and that's the next up in as wide as a double-wide mobile home. Marlowe's making a move up to the middle.
3 wide, you're the middle. Hey, man, one more time. Right flag, you're the man.
As they come onto the back stretch, it looks like there may be a move back in the back. Chris Haskins now moves into the fifth position.
Seems like ever since there's been a NASCAR, there's been an Earnhardt racing in it.
Times may change. Tradition rolls on.
Jared here. Michael Strahan here.
Subway Restaurants is known for tasty low-fat subs, like this 6-inch Subway Club. Order a footlong and it's still half the fat of a McDonald's Big Mac.
But the real surprise, it's got twice the meat. Fills me up without slowing me down.
Less fat.
More meat.
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 Less fat.
More meat!
The delicious footlong Subway Club, less than half the fat of a McDonald's Big Mac,
but twice the meat.
Subway.
Eat fresh.
Welcome back to OLR TV. Want to remind you and let you know that tonight's race was brought to you by join-fhtm.com. That's Fortune High Tech Marketing. Once again, join.fhtm. Join-, we should say, fhtm.com. Also by DMP Racing, the Dirty Mo Posse at dmp-racing.com. Gotta get over there, check out the website. Very clean, very easy to navigate. Also by High Speed Radio, your home for Wheeling with Wings Side Up, your home for Lowdown and Dirty, and now officially the home of the DMP Sportsman Series every Thursday night starting on the 16th, and also every other Wednesday night with the Grand National Series, and your home for every simulcast here on OLR TV. And of course by our friends at OnlineRacing.com. Free pickup servers, free racing for the entire sim racing community. That's right, it's free. OnlineRacing.com. Don't dream it, live it. Live it here at OLR. We are very proud, very happy to have brought you tonight's broadcast live in living color. We'll throw it down to Tony Tex Stevens, who has caught the impossible to catch number 24 machine. Of course, we all know who that is by now. It's your race winner, the one, the only Mr. We will call him Mr. Baldwin. Tony?
There we are, Dale. We've caught up with Patrick Baldwin, driver of the number 24 Pepsi Chevrolet, and I might add it's an older, like 05 style Chevrolet that ran out front for pretty much all 90 laps. Couple technical scoring things where other led under caution, but for all intents and purposes, Patrick Baldwin led this thing flag to flag. Patrick, that thing was certainly hauling the mail around that yellow line. Take us through the night's race.
Yeah, I learned quite a bit hearing about last night's race, the Cup race. That fella got the pole, and he led most of the race down low, and nobody could touch him up high. So I knew that was the key to the race, was just staying low. And then towards the end of the race there, I had Ryan Bowers behind me, my teammate. So I was pretty comfortable.
Did it ever cross your...
And I'd like to thank Kevin King for the ride.
Did it ever cross your mind, Patrick, as far as coming down to the closing stages of that event with all those caution flags, either, number one, somebody getting a jump on you on the restart that maybe you didn't plan for, or number two, that everybody were to gang up on you and maybe try to take you on the high side?
Yeah, that always goes through your head a little bit here and there. I was just trying to stay high, coming to the start-finish line, and then I tried ducking low before we get to turn one, so nobody would actually get underneath me. That was the biggest thing.
Real quick, you already gave a shout-out to Kevin King, thanking him for the ride, which obviously you've proven to him that it was a very wise choice, and I really don't think anybody in this business would have argued otherwise. But nonetheless, let's talk some about your sponsors and some of the other people that help you out.
I'd like to thank my primary sponsor, Pepsi. Great sponsor there. And King Style Motorsports, 1-2 finish. Thanks for the help, Brian.
All right, well, Patrick, congratulations one more time on your victory here at the World Center of Racing, Daytona International Speedway.
Thank you.
Patrick Baldwin, your winner of tonight's Fortune High Tech Marketing 225, pretty much leading this bad boy flag to flag from the pole position, Darrell. Nobody could touch that Chevrolet.
Absolutely not. We have caught up with the driver who spent a good portion of the latter stages of that race all over the back bumper of that Pepsi-sponsored Chevrolet. Driver of the number 5 Comp Cam's Puma Shoes sponsored entry from King Style Motorsports from Mission Viejo, California, the new pride of Mission Viejo, California, Ryan Bowers. Ryan, great run, bud.
Thanks, man. I'm just glad